So my name is Omar Ambasad. It is 1:21 p.m., June 3rd, 2019. So based on all the comments he getting outside the window um, and the ongoing comments from previous days, there seemed to be a submission in court to get another warrant for a mental evaluation because I heard that I'm walking back and forth um, at the hospital, and the cops came at the hospital because somebody in the hospital working with the person who had the receipt in this building, I'm suspecting, colluded and called the cops and lied and said I was walking around aimlessly. I had actually gone to the hospital just as an example of the lie, one of the lies that I'm being harassed about that was reported according to the harassment. Um, I had gone to the hospital to get ultrasounds done on my veins of the legs because my D dimer test was 8,200 when normal was under 500. So they were looking for clots. And while I was there, I asked to go to the bathroom, but the bathroom was a few turns and twists and corridors away from the x ray area. So I was walking through the corridors back and forth from the bathroom. Um, so I got the ultrasound done, and then I had to go back to see the doctor in the emergency. So I was sitting in the emergency, looking at the TV and in the waiting area. And while I was there, nurses dressed in blue would come out and look out the window as if they were waiting for somebody to come. There was this one person, a nurse, I think it was, dressed in blue, and he'd come out several times and he looked out the window as if he was waiting for somebody. But anyway, a few minutes after that, the cops showed up, and he came in. There were two cops. One of them stood a little bit away from me, and he was looking at me very conspicuously. And then he went to the desk and he talked to the nurse, and he came back and he started talking about clots and something about warrants. And because I had such bad, really bad experiences for being picked up for no reason and being falsely charged and so on with the cops, I tweeted it. And right after that, the doctor called my name, and I walked past the cop, and I tried not to get close to him because the cop, a uniform cop, is a trigger to me. Um, and I went to see the doctor, and the doctor said, "We're not going to keep you because the results of what she got did not show clots." So when I walked back out to the waiting area after seeing the doctor, there were four cops. And one of the cop, the new one that showed up, said she was walking back and forth as I walked by. She was walking back and forth. So this is how I know it was linked to what was reported from this building, because the people in the loading dock is constantly talking about my walking back and forth aimlessly, as if I'm mentally ill. That was the implication. The neighbors are reporting the same in their lives. I heard the workplaces are reporting also. Now, how and why the people in this building is getting reports about me from my workplace is a good question. The answer is, of course, that the person who has the receipt and who's responsible for reporting about me is in the building. That's why. And these reports are being made public. So this is one example of the lie that's being told, but being used um, in the court to get warrants to pull me out of my home for mental evaluations. Because I'm a target, it's all fixed. The lies doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a lie, it's fixed. As long as there is enough information to justify the warrant or the writ or whatever it is that's being sought, That's all it's needed. I'm a target, it's fixed. So the reason I'm doing this today is I'm being harassed by comments um, that there's going to be another pullout again this week, maybe tomorrow, because it's being submitted again. The information is being submitted, but new information inside of my home, recorded inside of my home. Oh my God, I'm having a mental health episode. I'm talking loudly. Whatever it is that's being said about things that I'm doing inside of my home, because I'm being monitored inside of my home, inside of my home. So obviously there is no emergency. Obviously, there are lies that's being told. Stealing, I heard I stole things from the workplace, which is absolutely not true. I heard I was walking back and forth with a knife in the workplace. Well, let me address this because this really bothers me. Because this is in line with what Rohini Besasa did. She took a knife and she harmed somebody. So in Multimatic, where I heard there was a contract um, out on me and I was being surveilled, I heard that in this building. Um, and I heard the names of the people who had the contract and had co-signed, the names that were in that company. One person who was there to train me, this woman, she brought her purse down and she started sitting at my desk, and I was the one who was standing. I heard I was reported for that as well. I was hovering over her. Well, I was standing at the desk because she was in my chair. So I heard it was reported that I was walking back and forth with a knife. Well, I found it really funny that she would come in earlier than me and she would bring her breakfast and it would be toast and jam and these things would be on my desk and she'd bring the knife that presumably to cut the toast or to use it to spread the jam on the toast. And she'd leave it, the knife was about 5 inches long, like a steak knife. And she would leave it on my desk. So when it was there for a long time, I think it was there a day or two, I finally picked it up and I took it back to the kitchen. She did the same thing with her tea. She left a filled tea on my desk for days. I returned that. Um, and she would leave her bag in my desk, on my desk, after counting bills out, which I pointed out to her. And I heard that it was reported that I had my hand in her bag, when I was the one who told her that, carrying around that much cash when she visibly took the bills out and counted. I think it was over $100, and she said she had to pay a bill with it. And I said I don't normally carry around cash with me, meaning that either she didn't carry the cash or she put her bag away somewhere, and or don't visibly count the bills like that in front of everybody. Um, so I heard that somebody reported that my hand was in a purse. These are all setups, frames, lies, out and out lies. Again, the informants are supposed to do this because I'm a target and it's all fixed. This is part of fixing the warrant. This is all part of fixing. So I'm doing this today to disclose, disclosure, um, something that other people should be doing. Um, let me talk a little bit. Let me just go off point and talk a little bit about disclosure. Lawyers who are dealing with situations where people are targeted and they know the person is targeted and they know the person is being lied upon, framed, and set up, they should disclose this to the client. The opposite is happening. People are taking part in it when they're supposed to be seeking the interest of their client. Part of seeking the interest of your client is disclosing information you have about the client. not taking part in a program that is targeting the client. And this goes for respondents as well as people who are filing complaints, excuse me. In my opinion, lawyers who represent respondents who are aware that there is a targeting program going on um, should, in the interest of justice, disclose this or ask the client to disclose it, because it is, in my opinion, and I have to seek legal advice on this. In my opinion, it is obstruction of justice in not disclosing that the complaint filed is, or most likely, or probably related to being the person being a target. Anyway, so let me go back to why I'm doing this. So I'm doing this because my side of the story needs to be told. This is my submission to the court, because part of the targeting and part of the fixing is to suppress my voice. It's supposed to be one way. It's supposed to be completely one way. My voice is not supposed to be heard. So this is my voice. I'm being set up, framed, and targeted to be declared mentally ill or to be charged for something I didn't do. Talk to you another time.